up to page Lamed Hey. And this is the sixth aspect of Keser which we are to emulate. And if the previous one was discussing kind of like the aspect of vision in Keser, and the one just before that was discussing the aspect of what would correspond to hearing within Keser, so this one is smelling. Interesting. Yeah, the senses are associated here. Lamed Hey, because the first one was really kind of contemplating the humility. The first one was humility. The second one was a person's thoughts. The third one was that a person should remember a soft forehead. Shouldn't kind of have a stern countenance, but rather a receptive countenance to others. The fourth one is regarding hearing. The fifth one, as we said, seeing. And now the sixth one is regarding the nose. Hashishis. It was kind of interesting considering something I had said a few sessions ago when we were talking about the relationship between the spheros, the upper three and the lower seven, and what we were talking about, the physiology, where this would be Keser, Chochmah, Bina, Das, and traditionally we've said that Chesed, Gvor, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesod, and Malchus. But I also mentioned the idea that you could say this is Keser, Chochmah, Bina, and Das, right, left, and central. And then the seven apertures of the face would be the seven spheros. Right? 2, 4, 6, 7. And we were talking about how the divine energy can be emanated through a person's mind and through those windows, right, in his head, which are kind of like the windows to his soul, onto the world. And insofar as according to that way of looking at it, that suggestion I made, that the kind of the seven apertures of the head, which are outside of the Chochmah, Bina, Das, that's the mind, would be the spheros. So, I don't know. It's interesting. He seems to be connecting the influence of Keser through these senses, hearing, yeah, and seeing, and now smelling. Or at least the nose. Let's see. Hashishis, Bechotmo. He can emulate emulate the midah of Keser through his nose. Ma'olam lo yimatze bo charoin af klal. How so? That a person should never be angry. Right? Anger is called charon af, which has kind of like the flaring of the nose. I guess because when a person's angry, his nostrils flare, and he breathes heavily. Yeah, maybe the nose gets red. So, with our noses, we should emulate Keser. How so? Insofar as the nose is associated with anger, like it says Haron Af, and there is no anger in Keser, so therefore there should be no anger found on our noses, meaning we should have no expression of anger ourselves. We should not be angry. Elatomid ba'apo chaim, rather there should always be in his nostrils, in his nose, life. The nose is also used for breathing, which of course is central for life. And therefore, rather than anger, which is a constriction of life, a person should not be angry. And therefore, you were connecting before the idea of anger with breathing. Difficult breathing. Yeah, so a person should relax his anger and therefore be able to breathe properly. And breathing properly is associated with sustaining life properly. So the analogy would be a person should refrain from becoming angry, relax from being angry, and therefore gain life, right? And be able to, life, better life. V'rotzon tov, goodwill, v'arichus af, and also a lengthening of the nose, which is not referring to Pinocchio. It's referring to arichus af is like patience. Patience. Even to people who aren't really deserving, they aren't really fitting. It's quite interesting. The sense of smell in general is associated with spirituality in Jewish thinking. And that's why, for example, we smell the fragrant spices on Motzi Shabbos, on Saturday night, because of the idea that during Shabbos a special additional influx of soul comes into a person. That's called the Neshama Yasera, the extra additional soul on Shabbos. And after Shabbos leaves or goes out, that extra soul departs. And the rest of the normal, mundane soul that remains feels the lack. There's a vacuum, something missing, because of that a special surge of spirituality that kind of was infused into the soul during Shabbos. And that pain, that sorrow, that vacuum, that lacking, the Gemara says, is consoled by smelling the smells, by smelling good fragrance. And the Gemara says that what of the senses does the soul have benefit from and the body not? The Gemara answers the sense of smell. So the sense of smell is viewed as pleasing the soul and therefore consoling the soul when the additional soul Motzei Shabbos leaves. We also find a pasuk Ruach Apenu Mashiach Hashem. The Mashiach of God is described as being Ruach Apenu, the breath of our noses. Right? How so? It gives a Mashiach, when Mashiach comes, it will give people a new breath, a rejuvenated breath on life. And that's associated with spirituality, a new life. We also find that when Kadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah on Har Sinai, beautiful smelling fragrances were wafting through the air there, right? Which is a beautiful custom, I believe, the source for a beautiful custom among the Sephardim, particularly, on Shabbat in particular, when they bring out the Sefer Torah to read, they sprinkle like fragrant smells. Just as the Torah was given at Sinai with fragrant smells in the air, so the Torah is taken out and bring it to the people, they sprinkle like, rose water and things like that. It smells very nice. But it's a very ethereal sense, the sense of smell. And the truth is that the smell actually, sense of smell gives you sometimes an inkling over the essence of something more than any of the other senses. For example, if you take some food, it might look delicious, but when you taste it, it's putrid. If you were to smell it beforehand, as people do, you'd be able to tell that it's off, even though it might look very nice to the eyes. It's deceiving. Right? Take a bottle of milk. It's nice and white. You pour it out, you drink it, it's sour. You would never be able to tell. If you smell it, you'd put it away. So you see that the sense of smell enables you to actually perceive the essence of the object more so than your eyesight is able to. And that's also connected, I think, to the spiritual kind of nature of the sense of smell. It goes beyond the surface. It's not something which is physical. It's something which is more essential. And therefore, just like in Keser, there's no anger, because we've discussed that there's no dinim in Keser. Since there's no dinim, there's no anger. So therefore, we want to emulate Keser. We also will not have feelings of anger. And also patience, just like Keser, kind of, as it were, patiently directs that divine energy down through the other spheros. So a person should also be patient in order to give to others, even if they're not deserving of it. And this would be kind of the sixth aspect of Keser, which we're to emulate. ותמיד רוצה למלוס רצון ולהפיק כל שאלה ולהחיות כל נדקה. And just like Keser does, so a person should also constantly be looking to fulfill the desires and the needs and the requests of needy people which they're asking for life. ומוצא מחותמו תמיד מחיlas avon. And he should exude from his nose constantly the forgiveness of transgression. V'hatzaros, or another version here has it, v'ha'avaros pesha. So somehow the nose is also associated with like forgiving, showing forgiveness. I'm not sure why. Can you think of why?
Maybe you're breathing out whatever kind of resentment that you harbored.
Yeah, okay.
There's like in meditation techniques, you're supposed to, like when you have anger or you're holding some sort of, a feeling that's unbecoming of you. You're supposed to, like, as you breathe out, you breathe in, you absorb the energy, and then you
exhale out the tension or the negativity, the impurity.
Yeah.
So that this would be associated, therefore, with the passing of sin, breathing it out, exhaling it, emitting it. Okay, very nice. Ve'eno koyas b'choitelo, and therefore a person should not be angry even against one who transgresses against him. Elimisratze tamid, he should be willing to become appeased always. V'chofetz chesed, and he should be desirable to do loving kindness and good deeds. Lasos nachas ruach l'kol, to make pleasant ruach. It's also a pun intended here, I suppose. Yeah, nachas ruach means like pleasure, fulfill a person's needs, but it's also associated with ruach. Ruach is like spirit, like wind, like breath. So you're actually causing a person to breathe calmly by diffusing your anger, by forgiving people, by overlooking their transgressions and even the way they've transgressed against you. You're causing people to have nachas ruach, a calm spirit.